Press the green flashing.
Go ahead and press it.
Been together on this earth, like we're two gangs trying to fight and love the turn. When all we really need to do is listen to each other's views on things, cause that's the only thing that maintains good love, good love. Sometimes we get stuck on our own and love to every innocent us. Listen, gonna take a listen to one another. We made it this far. I wanted to make it this far. No matter where, and even though sometimes it was hard, boy, we stay together. We can fall apart. Now we can sit back and laugh of all the things we didn't have and how far we came. But we have got to thank that, and I'm glad you stood by me even when I wasn't myself. You still know me better than anyone else. Sometimes we get stuck on our own and love to every innocent us. Listen, gonna try but listen to one another. We made it this far. Because we wanted to make it this far. Don't walk away, and even though sometimes it was hard, boy, we stay together. We can fall apart. Good love. Sometimes we get stuck on our own and love to every sweet us. Listen, gonna try and listen to one another. We made it this far. Because we wanted to make it this far. Don't walk away. And even though sometimes it was hard, boy, we stayed together. We didn't fall apart.
Good evening, and good evening. To make sure you're recording. Hold on. Gotta get it right. This is for the podcast. Gotta get the podcast part right. Give me just a moment. Jesus. All right. Good evening, and good evening. Welcome to another edition. There's so much going on. To Love, Marriage, and Ministry broadcast of Truth Foundation Outreach Ministries, our 2 hour talk show, social media talk show. We will be on for the next 2 hours, getting into some good conversation, and we want you to get into the conversation with us. You are more than welcome to be a part of the conversation, give your comments, your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. It's not about you agreeing with us or amen in everything we say.
Nope.
It's an open conversation. You can have your say so in the conversation as much as you please. As long as you keep it respectful, we're good with it. Because the minute you don't,
I'll be respectful.
Block game is serious, and we don't want to block you. Definitely want you to invite somebody, share the video. We are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. Let people know that we are here, and you are more than welcome to be a part of the conversation. Come on in. Everything is fine. We're going to be talking for the next 2 hours. We're going to have our phone lines open. You can actually call in and voice your opinion on air with us. We are broadcasting out of the RPP studios here in North Charleston, South Carolina. Wherever you might be, want to say good evening to Angela Williams coming on in. Wherever you might be this evening, you're more than welcome to come on in and be a part of the conversation. It's an open conversation. Anyone, anywhere in the country, in the world. If you're viewing, if you're on with us on any of the live channels, you are more than welcome to be a part of the conversation. You're more than welcome to join in to what's being said on this evening. All right. You got yours truly, Derek Moon, along with my wife, my friend, my baby doll, my baby mama.
I'm your friend.
Most of the time. Introduce yourself.
Ditto. Charmaine Moon.
And we are here on this. This is some people might say, well, why so much alive? Well, we doing what God told us to do. So we are that ministry.
Yeah.
We are that ministry. We've been doing this social media thing for some years now, almost pretty much since the beginning. I think we started social media in the second year, but we had our website running since the inception of the ministry. Yes, inception of the ministry. There was no time there was a company called Livestream. We used to live stream Bible studies in the first year. So we've been sitting in front of cameras from the beginning, because it's been a part of what God told me we ought to do as being outreach. So we thank God for what He has given us, and we take it very seriously, holding to the instructions from God. So this is another endeavor that He put us on just this year, to start Love, Marriage, and Ministry, and have open conversations about the issues involving those three topics, whether it be a topic of love, a topic of marriage, or a topic of ministry. And sometimes those things intertwine. So they all have to be talked about, understood, and balanced in order for any couple, whether you're in ministry and you are a couple, whether you're in ministry and only one of you are really pushing ministry, or whether you desire to be a couple or to have that significant other with you by your side while you do this. We are sharing our experiences through our love, our marriage, and our ministry.
Yeah.
And we want you to share yours, whatever you've been through, good or bad, because our bad situations help us out to learn. We learn from those. So we definitely want you guys to be a part of the conversation that we're getting into tonight. Now, all that being said, if you do check out the YouTube page, we need you to subscribe to the YouTube page. That is a definite request coming from us to you, because we need to get our subscription numbers up on our YouTube page, so that when the country, which is soon to reopen, when the country reopens, we want to go, when we do our outreach and do our mobile things, we want to also be able to do them on YouTube as well.
Yep.
That's important to us, to cover all the bases and all the avenues afforded to us, to use all the tools in the toolbox, if you will. So we need you to subscribe, because we got to get our subscription numbers up, because that's the only way you are able to go YouTube live with a mobile device. Right now we can do it from the studio, but we can't YouTube from our mobile devices yet. Now, once you get with that and help us out in that area, and go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and get the subscription numbers where they need to be, that's going to enable us to go YouTube live mobile.
Yep.
So that's what that's about. So if you're here tonight, please, if you're viewing this later on, if you're watching this on a replay, if you're listening to this by way of Exquisite Internet Radio, we ask that you go ahead, check us out on our YouTube channel. It's the Truth Foundation Outreach Ministries YouTube channel. Subscribe to that channel for us, so that we can do that. Now, phone lines are open. You're going to be able to join the conversation by dialing the number 843-648-1239. 843-648-1239. I'm still constructing our opening message, so I'm going to put it in there so it will be posted along whatever other pertinent information that we need to give you. inside the opening message. So the number will be there if you just decide to want to join in the conversation, if you're joining in later on. Now, if you're not watching this live, don't bother dialing the number. It's not going to work. Don't waste your time. But if you're here with us live, you can definitely join into the conversation whenever you're ready. Just dive on in. I want to say good evening to Youth Minister Moon, who brought an awesome word in service on today.
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
can definitely check that out.
We did all right.
But definitely want you to join us by way of our telephone line. We do have an active telephone line here in the studio. It's 843-648-1239. We'll be more than happy. We want to hear from you. We're taking calls and such and such and so and all that good stuff. Now, tonight, our topic of discussion is about being, I forgot there's a delay. Come on. It's about being partners and not competitors. That's what we're going to be talking about. Being partners and not competitors. Because a lot of times in marriages, in ministry, there's a competitive nature that rears its ugly head and tries to mess up what God has put together and what God has orchestrated and what God is trying to accomplish in a partnership, in a marriage, and in ministry. So we're going to talk about that. Now, there's a term that is being widely used today, mostly through all the activities and events that have happened with the LGBT community. You have a lot of conversations about life partners. That's not what we're talking about. That's a whole different discussion, but we're not talking about that particular term in that sense. What we're talking about is marriage between a man and a woman, ministry, those that are in ministry, and that competitive nature is there, especially when you have young couples that are still working in the workforce, because you get a lot of influence in your psyche from being in the workforce here in America, because it's such a lopsided situations in a lot of workforces, and a lot of different companies have a lot of double standards that go on. And a lot of times, if you're not careful, if you don't walk in the spirit enough, sometimes your natural tendencies and desires spill over into ministry, and that competitive nature comes over with it. That competitive nature comes into the house, into the household of your own house, as well as the household of God. And that is something that threatens the unity and the direction of what God is doing, or what God is trying to accomplish. So we're going to be talking about that on tonight. So we're going to help some people. I'm sure it's going to help us. It's going to help you. Once we get into the conversation, it's going to help those that desire or look to see themselves in that position down the road. So it'll give you some heads up of what can happen down the road. You might hear from some of our listeners and viewers who have been through that and have been. I really want to hear from people who know what it has happened, what can happen through their experiences, that maybe their marriage didn't survive.
Right.
A lot of people's marriage didn't survive that competitive spirit. So a lot of churches, I personally know of some churches that did not survive that competitive spirit, that competitive nature that is in us inheritedly. So this is what we're talking about: being not being competitors, but being partners. And how do you accomplish that? So this is some of the things that we're going to talk about, and we definitely want to hear your input. We want to hear what you have to say about it. We definitely want to hear some of your experiences. Please, you can call anonymously, and if you don't want to call, we won't call your name up. If you put a post, just put anonymous on the post, so we don't read your name out, but we can deal with the post. That way, if you want to put something up but don't want it going over the airwaves. Now, if it's really, really private, you don't only want to put it up on the main page, inboxes, because we'll see the inbox. Inbox either one of us, and we'll see it pop up, and we'll talk about it. So if you want to share, please, by all means, do share, because remember, sharing is caring, but it's also helping.
Yeah.
We want to help some people, because if you've been through something and it's something you can help somebody to make sure they don't go through the same thing, that's what we ought to do as brothers and sisters in Christ, is to be helpers one to another. So we definitely want you to dive into the conversation and invite. We're going to be here for a minute, so make sure you're inviting everybody to come and be a part of the conversation, because this is a much needed conversation. I'm looking for my pastors and leaders to join into this conversation with us and be a part of the conversation, because this is a needed conversation in the body of Christ. It's definitely needed in homes. This is a great conversation for right now while we're in this pandemic and we're home. You know, we might have went to our church service even more than we're supposed to. Hopefully we're practicing social distancing or whatever to be safe. But we're back home in the evening, and if you're in a part of the conversation, we want you to invite other people to be a part of the conversation, that we can grow together. We don't want to grow by ourselves. We want to grow together in Christ. So I'm looking for input from our pastor friends and affiliates and different things like that. We want to hear your opinion. It's not just about what the moon say. This is just a forum that we're leading, but it's about all of us helping each other.
Yep.
We are not the sole teachers in this forum.
No.
We are all teachers one to another.
And our
Amen.
experiences and opinions.
Amen.
With our experiences and opinions is what I was saying.
Yeah, I'm letting you get in. Go ahead. I mean, I was running my gift for a minute. I was gift running.
Yeah, that's what you do.
It is.
Yeah.
I get paid to do it too. Probably. I'm a gift runner. I got here, but I'm here.
But
Present. School.
No.
Oh, you didn't get
No.
it? You had to say present. Present.
But like you said, our topic tonight is about being, I would say, good partners instead of competing with one another. Because if you are in a relationship and you have goals that you're trying to reach for your family or you as a couple, sometimes it's nothing wrong with good competition, but not when it comes down to like your relationship and you trying to get to another level. If you make the most money and you're the female, that's not nothing that you should bring up in your spouse's face or make them feel bad or just make people feel, how can I say, belittled. Because sometimes what you do when you do things like that is you mess with the man's ego and make him feel a certain kind of way. So if in that form or you feel that way and that's the things that you do, I highly suggest that you quit doing things like that, because at some point that your spouse will get upset with that, because no one wants you to keep bringing up how much money you make and you need to get on my level. That's the kind of talk that you hear a lot of females that have been by themselves for a long time. And they feel like, oh, I've been doing this by myself for a long time. I don't really need you here. I got it. I can handle it. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, so then what did you get married for? If these are the kind of comments that you're going to have, when you're in a relationship, it's a good thing, because let's work together. Let's get things going. If you want to go out and you want to buy a house, what we're going to do is I'm not going to just sit back and be like, oh, I'm going to make sure I'm good on my side. And I got this good on my side. You ain't doing nothing. You need to work on. It doesn't work like that. That's not helping. We got to learn to work together, because guess what? It's going to be your house. It's going to be in your name.
That's right.
And you have to understand that it's not a one-sided thing. It's not a one-person thing. But guess what it is? It's a together thing. And when you've been in a relationship for a while, then guess what? You'll get to know that kind of stuff. You'll get to know that I'm not here to fight with you. And I'm not here to be against you, but we partners on this thing. And I used to hear the older people say all the time, God didn't make woman from your feet for you to walk all over them. Or he ain't make them from your back area. I say back area, for you to put her behind you and make her feel like she ain't worthy. But she was made from the rib, and that's on the side. And so in your side, you're supposed to work together. You're supposed to be side by side, working together, going forth and doing what you need to do, not competing with one another, but trying to work together to get to different levels in life. Sometimes, you're not always going to agree, but that don't mean that you just gonna dispute every little thing. That's when you always find those men say, "Man, my wife is so nagging. All she do is nag, nag, nag." And the reason why is for that is because all you want to do is find the negative in everything. You got to learn how to find the positive in different things. You got to learn to find the positive in situations. You got to learn how to watch this compromise. It ain't always going to be your way. It ain't always going to be their way. You got to find middle ground and learn how to walk on the middle ground together. If you say, well, I don't want this. I don't want it to be like this. And I'm like, well, I don't want it to be like that. Then we got to, in the middle, somewhere find and say, okay, well, maybe if we do this or maybe if we do that, then we can get it together. But we have to learn how to, on this work together. You have to work together because I don't want to be in a relationship where I feel like I'm always competing or I'm always arguing. Because when you get like that, it's a whole bunch of arguing that's going on. It's a whole bunch of strife going on in your house. And believe it or not, that's when you have a whole bunch of people be like, I'm just unhappy at home and I just really don't want to be there. You begin to not like your spouse. You begin to not like home. You begin to not like wanting to be home. And guess what you do? You slowly but surely start backing up from coming home. Because when you get ready to come home, you pull up in the driveway and you're looking like, oh man, I heard she here too. Man, he here. Oh man, I know I'm gonna go back out for a little while. So you be done coming home, and next thing you know, it's late at night, and it shouldn't be like that.
You think the bars be packed up after work?
Yeah.
Nobody won't go home.
And it shouldn't be like that. We're not in a competition. And that's how it's supposed to be when you're in a marriage. You're not supposed to be competing against one another. You have to learn how to work together, work on your love, work on your marriage, and work on your ministry together. That's what it's about. We can't be the type of people that looking at the people on TV. Like, let me tell y'all what I just recently started watching. I used to watch it a long time ago, but I never finished it. I never kept going with it. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And I've been watching that recently. I'm on season 3. And so I've been watching it. And the crazy part about it is it's like everybody is in competition with one another or they're looking at one another and they want to get this and they want to get that. But that's not how we live. We regular people. We regular people. We ain't on TV. Ain't nobody following us with no cameras recording our life daily for us to be competing against one another or making one another feel bad, belittling one another. That's not what it's about. We have to understand that working together is the thing to do. And I tell people all the time, when it comes down to relationships, you have to have great communication. And well, I wouldn't even use the word great, but you have to have some communication going on. Because I don't want to be sitting up in here trying to read his mind all day long. And I don't want him to try to read my mind. I'm going to go ahead and I'm the type of person, I'm going to go ahead and say what's going on. Or I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to discuss some situations. Or I'm going to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. What? Yada, yada, yada. It's okay if you go to him and say, what you think about that? What's your opinion about that? How you feel about that? But if we can't do things like that, then we're going to always have a problem. We're going to always have an issue going on. Why? Because we think we know everything. And these days and time, some of y'all millennials, I know y'all don't want me to say it, but some of y'all millennials, y'all just clear before God. Y'all know everything.
Always right.
And yeah, you don't want nobody to tell you nothing. And so sometimes people got to back up and be like, okay, well, you go ahead and take your difficult to have conversations with people that seem to already know everything.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
It's like you talking to a brick wall because you're trying to talk to them and help them, give them some advice. And they don't have to do everything per se like you've done in your marriage, but you have to learn how to take bits and pieces from what people are saying and try to apply it and see what works. See what works in your house. I tell people all the time, I can give you advice and I can help you as much as I can because I can tell you about my testimonies. But everything I do at my house, it may not work at your house. And everything you do at your house, it may not work in my house. I see somebody put a post up and it was like, well, you think I'm gonna get up and do that?
I ain't gonna ask because I know you were gonna do it.
Hey, you already know I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be petty. I only fix my husband food on glass plates. He don't eat off paper plates. What is you talking about? I ain't got time for none of that. So if you already know your spouse, then those aren't the conversations you should be having, because that might be working in Sarah's house. Sarah, my husband, and our husband might have a good old agreement with that and say, you know how I like my dinner. And Sarah might be fine with that. But I wouldn't be fine with that. I would not be fine with it. I would turn over and I would probably flip the light on and I'm going all the way off if you wake me up and ask me to say, hey, I know it's like 4 o'clock, but can you get up and scramble me some eggs, and I want some pink salmon and some toast, and you're giving me a whole little menu like we at the restaurant, like you at Waffle House or something.
Room service.
Yeah, like you at Waffle House.
Still,
I work. I'm talking about me now. I work.
yeah.
And when I woke up out of my sleep, it's so difficult for me to go back to sleep. So when I'm asleep, let me sleep. And so you know that. So you have to know your spouse. And it's like you say, I wouldn't even wake you up and ask you not to do nothing like that. Why? Because that would be totally unnecessary.
Because what it really boils down to is respect. You know, that's the big issue. It's about respect. It's about us respecting one another. And a lot of times we don't realize how long away respect goes. We don't realize, we don't realize that we're showing our actions and our conversation is disrespectful.
Right.
A lot of times we don't have I know you're feeling disrespected. A lot of times we're not doing ourselves any good, or doing our relationships, our ministry any good, to hold on the inside how we're feeling.
Right.
Because that's just storing up problems in a dam, and eventually that dam's going to break, and it's going to be a flood in the valley.
Yeah.
So we have to realize that a part of me caring about the relationship, the ministry, whatever we're in partnership together,
Right.
and I care about the partnership, and what we're talking about is partnership and not competitors, then I'm going to let you know that bothered me.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you know that I don't like that.
Yeah. And I like how you used that word just a few minutes ago. You don't that much enough respect for me to let me get some rest. You don't have enough respect for me to let me get some sleep.
Right.
You're gonna water and washing dishes, but I'm saving some money by buying some paper plates and some plastic fork and thing. But let me tell you something.
That saves a lot of money. You
Yes.
realize.
And when we always got plastic plates in this house,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the pandemic came out, let me tell you, I went and bought so much of plastic plates, paper plates, and forks, spoon. You respectful, but at the same time, in that situation, learn how to save money.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, the Dollar Tree is wonderful. I love the Dollar Tree. I'm always in there. I love them because they have some things. Dollar Tree got real dishes in there. Duh.
Yeah.
So it's some things you can go in there and get.
Silverware, everything.
Yeah. So we don't want to try to make it seem like I don't want to live like the Joneses, because I don't know them. I ain't met them. And I don't want to live like the Joneses. I just want to live like me. And I want to make sure that in my house, everything is running like clockwork. Because my house is just, that is my house. And this is how I handle things. And I was laughing because little do y'all know,
Spray they behind
I
down.
be spraying the people. I be spraying them. Why? For the simple fact that I'm like, listen, I don't want to
We
catch
ain't scared
nobody
of corona,
germs.
but we ain't stupid either.
Yeah. I'm being safe, you
Be
know.
wise.
First, I was stopping them when they come to the door, and they stop to the door. I'm spraying them down with the light. So I'm like, look, you know, I don't mean no harm, but at the same time, you know, I want to make sure we good in here. So I'm spraying them down. Or good when y'all go to your house. That's just me, you know. So everybody probably wouldn't be that way. So that's me. I run my house differently, and he good with it, right?
Hey, me that don't like it, the same door that let you in, I'm pretty sure it's not a one-way door. If it let you in, it'll let you out.
For sure.
You know,
For sure.
and the same way we are about our households, the same way we feel about God's house.
Yeah.
We and that's the beauty of a partnership. You know, most times on a partnership, it doesn't mean you're going to see everything eye to eye. That's not what a partnership is. It means that you're going to compromise and keep the train moving forward.
Scroll down a little bit. Look at your brother comment.
Okay, let me see. As long as you do what Apostle Moon say, the house will run smooth. Obey.
Don't
Not
stop
so.
at me. Don't
Not
stop
so.
at me.
Stop with me, Charlie. Oh no.
He trying to rile his sister up like usual. But we're definitely talking about the partnership, and it's to be partners and not competitors.
Right.
Is what we're talking about. If you're just joining the conversation, that's the topic, and you're more than welcome to join the conversation.
Oh, we got a lot of comments.
Put your comments in. For difference of opinion, please, by all means, share it.
I like
Your
that.
experiences,
I like this comment.
your experiences might be different. And yes, we agree with Jamal Gadsden. Your house is God's house, and it should be.
Yes.
It should be. So the same rules that apply in God's house should be applying in your house, especially if you're a child of God. But we got to realize, above all else, if God put you two together, and especially if you're in ministry, you're partners.
Yeah.
You're not competitors. Now let's talk about this, because some people let competitive nature come right on up into the church.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people, they're in competition with their spouses about running the house of God. And if it's that way in the house of God, you know some competition at the house.
Oh yeah.
You know it's about who's doing what and who's beating, who's one up and who at the house.
What?
So if you're one upping, you know, they got to one up you. Yeah, I got a raise today. Man, I got my raise last week. What? Can we rejoice?
Yeah,
Can I be
just
great
want
for
you
a
to
half
be
a second? Can I be great for a minute?
Yes.
So, you know, we got to understand that this is a trick of the enemy. When the enemy comes in and he not only wants to break down your household, he wants to break down the house of God. Ultimately, that's his goal, is to tear down the house of God. And he has to start in our houses, in our homes. So we have to be very careful about that competitive nature and that competitive spirit, and make sure we stay on one accord, because we have issues as men and as women. We have issues, and only God can fix those issues. We're not here to point out your issues or tell you what your problems are or nothing like that, but only God can fix the issues that go on in the individual.
Oh yeah.
I can't change anything about my spouse. My spouse can't change anything about me. We have to let God change the individual, and then we enjoy the changes together. We share those changes together. My wife and I, 23 years, man. So we have been through the gambit of it all. We have ran the gauntlet of problems and issues. But through that, we have come to an understanding to realize that, you know what, we partners in this.
Oh yeah.
You know, we realize that I'm not partners with our parents. We're not partners with our children. We're not partners with our besties, our BFFs, the ones we like to tell all our business to, that's telling our business to their best friend, and not competitors. This for the situation. I can tell you right now, an instance that we just went through, that if I had not listened to my wife, we would not be enjoying some of the things we're enjoying right now, this very moment. There was a time I started working at home with my barbering, and it was going pretty decent. But when it slowed down, and on those slower days, it wasn't coming quick enough, the bills were coming quicker. Just to put it plain, the bills were coming quicker than the money. And the money was coming, but the bills was coming quicker. So my wife, God led her with a word of wisdom to come to me and say, maybe you need to look for something that you can do in part-time to supplement. And, you know, at first, like always, when somebody says something you good or bad, you get that little lump in your throat because you don't really want to hear it. You don't really want to be told what to do. You feel like you got it. And I got that little lump, but I had to swallow that and hear what the woman of God was saying. And when I took in consideration our family, when I looked and took in consideration the family, I went ahead and did what I need to do and went looking for that second job. Long story short, God blessed me to get into a call center work, which not only supplemented and was easy and not strenuous work, it put me through 5 weeks of training, which was actually supposed to be 7 weeks, but I went through 5 weeks of training. By the time I finished the 5th week of training, this Corona thing was in full swing, and they were trying to send people home to work from home. So I was one of the first people that brought my laptop in, got it configured to work from home, and now I'm working from home. So I went out and got the job, and then I was able to bring the job right back to the house. So now, since we've been contained or quarantined, I've been working. I get up, I do my broadcast in the morning, I put that away, I turn on my laptop, switch the things, the what you call it, program, switch to another program, and I start doing my work. I work a full 8-hour day, and after that 8-hour day, I break that down, and I start cutting hair for obedient to not just saying I was obedient to my wife, but I was obedient to the leading of God, because God was the one that gave her the lead to give the information to me, and I acted on it. Acted on it. You understand what I'm saying? I heard my partner's voice audibly, but I heard God's voice spiritually. And I moved in, and within I was hired. I had to wait a couple of weeks for training from home, and I've been working from home since we've been on quarantine. And I truly, truly, truly thank God for that. You have to understand that we have to recognize and acknowledge our partnership so that God can bless us. That's the way we become blessed. That's the way we walk in the anointing, like I said earlier. But the second thing is trust. You have to trust one another. We have to trust that this is my partner. I have to trust that she's not going to do something detrimental to us or to me. And she has to believe the same thing. Then I'm not going to tell you something that's going to hurt you, because if I hurt you, I'm hurting me. So we have to understand that God has for you, for the two of you, for the partnership, for the ministry, for your household. There's a partnership. You have to be trusting of God's leading. Trusting that God has things all in control. And when we trust, if we got trust between us, if we got respect between us, we can't be stopped.
Right.
There's nothing that can stop us, because I'm going to believe her before I believe you. I'm going to believe her before I believe rumor. I'm going to believe her before I believe the scuttlebutt, before I believe what you heard about. I know the streets be talking, but we need to be talking too.
Oh yeah.
See, sometimes because the streets is talking and we ain't. See, if we ain't talking and the streets is talking, what you're gonna hear is the street. So eventually you're gonna bring some garbage to your partner because you're listening and you can hear the voice of the street much louder than you can hear the voice of your partner.
And sometimes it seems like people want to hear the streets talking. They want to hear, I say that because some people don't really like being home, and they don't really like their partner. It's the difference between saying I love you and different things like that, because we're supposed to love everybody. But there's a big difference between saying I love you and I like this person. So if you like coming home to them, you're not gonna have a problem with putting people in their place. But when you kind of wishy-washy and you ain't too sure, and then the streets start talking, it's like, yeah, let me go see what they got going on out there, because I know my boy is gonna tell me right. I know if I talk to my girls, they're gonna tell me this and they're gonna tell me that. And sometimes that you really will. And when it comes down to partnerships and marriages and different things like that, you have to learn how to be on one accord. And if you don't, all the enemy needs is like a little crack. All he needs is a little space to get in there. And when he get in there, he busting on through. And once he get in there, you're gonna have a time trying to get him out of there. Why? Because you're gonna have to now start getting some understanding, going back and figuring out how to get this thing right, how to fix this, what I should have done from the first time. And we have to understand they're not going to be listening.
And let's talk about that for a minute, because with that particular conversation, what helped me to hear her was not so much as what she was saying, but how she was saying it to me. She came to me in a way, again, respectful. We got to be respectful to each other. If you want to be heard, you got to be respectful. You got to maintain that respectful tone. If you go to somebody right now and you come aggressively, even if you got the best idea in the world, but you're coming aggressively, it's not going to be received.
I'm coming back aggressive.
Wait, she's about to hit me. That's my wife. Should I defend myself? No, those aren't the thoughts. It's going to be automatic defense, whether it be blocking or station. Don't make people get defensive. Some people are defensive by nature, and we understand that. Now, if you have a spouse that is just defensive by nature,
right,
then you're going to have to definitely come correct to get this person from going to DEFCON 4 to DEFCON 1 in defense all that quick. So you're going to have to find a way to deal with that person. But you don't want to make a person go defensive because you're coming aggressively, or you say something good and you follow it with a nasty comment.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people are good for that. Well, maybe you should get another job because you know you're behind, stay broke.
Oh, Lord.
You're not helping. Extra comments.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a time and a place for everything. And in a time like this, in a conversation like this, y'all, some of us need to practice knowing where to put the period. Like, get control of those run-on sentences.
Yeah, man.
And know where to put those periods and stop.
Oh, yeah.
See, because we want to follow it up with our little liner that, I'm going to let him know. Because he need another job because this little barbershop thing ain't working. He need to come correct. See, I
should have said that.
Yeah, you should have. And we still be struggling right now because I would not new stimulus.
No, really, you would have been hungry, like, struggling and starving, because I'd be like, my turn to be back.
You can't stay at the hotels.
I was going to my grandma's house.
Good. Go ahead.
Jamal Gaston say, watch and pray how to communicate with your mate.
Yes, for sure. Great comments, Brother Gadsden. We appreciate those comments for sure. Because we got to learn how to communicate, man. We got to talk to them like they my partner. You understand what I'm saying?
Like
a partnership. That's why we're talking about a partnership. Because a partnership, the word itself entails a working together,
right?
A unity. My wife came to me with a topic the other morning, and when she finished telling me everything, you know what she followed up with? It wasn't a smart comment. It wasn't a little snide remark. It was, babe, what you think? That right there lets me know there's respect of and value in what I have to say. Because sometimes we want to talk, but we don't want to listen. We're hurting a partnership. All you want to do is get your point across, but you don't want to be heard. Mm-hmm. We're hurting the partnership. So we got to realize get a lot more done. I said a little while ago, what works in our household might not work in your household.
Right.
So I don't want to give you a script. I don't have no script to give you on what to say. But I'm just letting you know, if you know, when I talk about women getting things done through and with their spouse, I use the example of Superman. Superman was in love with Lois Lane. Superman only does what he does. He only does the jobs that he do. He only saves the planet. He knows that Lois Lane is a human being and this is her planet. There's always a love story underneath the job because I love her. When you look at it, the people that shoot up and do the crazy things, we done broke up with somebody. They ain't got you are sharing the video, letting people know about it. Please, you guys, slide over to the YouTube page and subscribe to the YouTube page. Slide over there and subscribe to our YouTube page. We appreciate it. We definitely you guys that we're looking. If you're on here, you may have been in a marriage and got divorced. Share that with us so we can help one another. Because give us a call, let us know what's going on, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about why what have you gone through that proves or disproves what we're talking about. We definitely
time that you've been married. Time has nothing to do with ever really love that person. You could tolerate them.
Oh yeah.
You could be tolerating them and like true. Some people is like, okay, well, we done had some kids and I don't want the kids to grow up in separate houses or have to grow up with a broken family. So we're gonna tolerate each other and stick around with each other until they come of age and I'm going my way. So you can be in a relationship and just be tolerating that person. And that's not a good thing. And when it comes down to marriages and relationship and different things like that, we got to understand that being in relationship, just because he's the man, doesn't mean that everything he says is the final say or make it seem like everything that he say, I said it like this and that's how it's going to go. Because I'm be looking at him like, so I didn't even know that this was that kind of controlling relationship.
I wouldn't even partnership, that's for sure.
No, because you wouldn't make somebody feel like, okay, so you're basically leading and I'm just gonna follow everywhere you go. I ain't even gonna do that. Because I remember, I can't remember how the thing go, but I remember we were talking in the Bible and it was saying that if I start going astray, I'm not gonna do that. So and when it comes down to a partnership and marriage relationship, guess what? Everybody say that may not be the relationship that you need to be in. Because you got to be able to feel free. You can't feel bound. And the only time you okay is when, okay, they finally going out the house. Now you like Norbit in the basement. House. Now, like, why can't you just say what you want? at the time.
What I tell you about having opinions?
We got to understand that it don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. When it comes down to relationship and different things like that, we have to have an understanding. We have to be understanding people and know that, man, she got an opinion just like he got an opinion. Why you have that on anyway? Like, what do you?
Because I feel
music. It's no music.
Almost an hour into the show. Now she's bothering me about my headphones.
Thank you, because I'm.
If it'll help you concentrate.
I don't remember what I was saying.
To encourage our partnership. Anyway, I was trying to get my comment back together, and I think it's gonna make me rewrite my whole comment. I'm gonna have
to. On there?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You don't put up enough comments. Just you don't post every week.
Y'all hear the aggression?
Yeah, man.
I'm about to react to the aggression.
Go ahead. So they can see how you really, and then you really just talking.
Anyway, if you're just joining us, we are talking about having a focus on your partnership. Being partners and not competitors is the topic of conversation tonight. Being partners and not competitors. A lot of time the world will make you feel like conversation. Yep. It's okay to get advice. It's okay to talk to people, to have those people that can pour in and different things. But people have allowed that to happen and start a ministry, and a husband going their way and start a ministry. I've seen the spirit of competition be that serious and that heavy. So I don't want you to think that we just talking to be talking. I have seen it firsthand, and it is a dangerous thing, competition, and making sure that it doesn't come in and hinder what God has for us to do. We have to make sure that we are aware and very to those things. We have to stay on the defensive against the things that will come in and cause division within the marriage and within the ministry, because it's that partnership that God desires for us to walk in. It's that partnership that's going to help us get to our next level, to push the ministry, to push our vision for family and our vision for ministry and our vision for ourselves to that next level. I saw it. I got to the replay of you giving yourself a high five. It was crazy. So we have to understand that that's what we're talking about tonight. Now we are a good hour in, and we want to hear from you guys. We're going to get ready to take us a break, but the phone number is up on our comments, 843-648-1239. We want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you think. Many of you have been putting up some very good comments. Please continue to put your comments up. When we go on this break, we're going to go on a few minutes break. We're going to play a few commercials, but we want you guys to come through and slide on over to the YouTube page for us and put up your
we got to pay our sponsors.
Yeah, got to pay a few bills. Definitely want you guys to go over to the YouTube page and subscribe while we're on our break. Just take this few minutes to go over to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube page. We're just going to play a few commercials. I got to refresh my drink. 2 hours is a long time to just be chitter-chattering, as my wife say. So got to get a little water. But we're coming right back. We got a whole nother hour of show to go. So we want you guys to stay with us. No, we're not going time-wise. We're going from the time we started. We're an hour in. I go by this time right here.
What? We only been talking for 1 hour? Go ahead. I'm looking at the clock. We usually done at 8 o'clock, and it's 7:25.
When we start at 8 o'clock.
When we start
at,
I thought my throat
6.
was about to.
So yeah, I don't know what you're feeling in your throat. But
I need some hot tea.
But that's why we're gonna take a break so you can get some hot tea.
Don't leave, guys. We're just gonna play some commercials, and just while Derek is getting that ready. Remember, for those of you that do have church and community news, because from what I've been told and what I've read, they're about to open up the country, to infect us all with this coronavirus. But, I heard on the radio just yesterday, that was yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they got a concert already set up
August.
For at the Coliseum down here with, my real baby daddy, John P. Key, is going to be there. It's the choir thing that they got going on. And so if you have church and community news that you want to get out, if you want some information, post it. When Derek does his show in the morning time, he always reads the church and community news. Like most radio stations, they charge you to read your church and community news, but he reads it for free. So if you have any kind of flyers and different things that you want him to look at, just put it in his inbox. You can do it on his Facebook. He'll check it, and he'll put it in the Church and Community News, and he'll read it for free. So if you have some news that you want to get out there, and if for those of us, that are getting back into the swing of things, let everybody know when your service times, different things are, because they're gonna open it whether we want to or not, and we can say what we want to say, but we're gonna be out and about doing normal activity.
I know y'all getting them stimulus checks. Y'all ready to go outside?
Now we can sit back and laugh of all the things we didn't have and how far we came. But we have God to thank you, and I'm glad you stood by me even when I was in myself. You still know me better than anyone. Sometimes we get stuck on our own love. To every slave us. Listen, wanna pray, but listen to one another. We made it this far. I pray, I wanted to make it this far. Don't walk away, even though sometimes it was hard. Boy, we stay together, we can fall apart. Good love. Sometimes we get stuck on our own love. To every sweet us. Listen, wanna play, but listen to one another. We made it this far. I pray because we wanted to make it this far. Don't walk away, even though sometimes it was hard. Boy, we stayed together, we didn't fall apart.
An event that you're planning and you need a DJ that knows how to keep the party going, a DJ that has great music selection and knows how to keep the flow. But look no further, because Do It All Production is here. Do It All Production professional DJ service of the Low Country can provide your event with the music and style you desire. Whether it's a wedding, a prom, a birthday, a family reunion, or even a church event, we provide music of all genres, from gospel to pop and everything in between, as long as it's clean. From country to classic, from soul to jazz, we provide the music that will make your next event unforgettable. Do It All Production professional DJ services of the Low Country covers all of Savannah, Beaufort, and Charleston, and all surrounding areas. Call today to book your next event by texting 912-312-7 event photography, videography, MC service, and event planning. Do It All Production professional DJ service of the Low Country. Make the call and check one more thing off your list.
Sometimes you really need to clean, but you just don't have the time. So next time, call the professionals of Squeaky Cleaner. Whether it's a light touch-up or a deep cleaning, the professional care and concern of Squeaky Cleaner cannot be beat. Call 843-263-9379 for your free estimate today. It could be one room or the entire house. No job is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, and church cleanings are available. If you're the type of person that knows the three.
Are you new to the Charleston area? Or have you been here a while but still haven't found a reliable barber? Well, look no further than the new upscale unlimited Family Grooming Incorporated. 843-263-9358. Text today with professional services and A+ hospitality You will always leave Upscale Unlimited feeling and looking your best. With an atmosphere as comfortable as your own home, you can relax and unwind as professionals suit your individual and specific style. Find us on Facebook as you search Upscale Unlimited Family Grooming Incorporated, located 4303 Green Road, Unit 47. You can even book your next appointment directly from the Facebook page and receive a special discount. Upscale Unlimited, the name speaks for itself.
No one likes to move, but it's a reality we all must face sooner or later. With professional care and timing that will always get you to your destination when you are supposed to be there. Call 843-818-3550 for your estimate today. 843-818-3550. Full Moon Moving, when you know it just absolutely, positively has to be done.
We all know about the growing threat of antimicrobial resistance and have seen the headlines about superbugs and nightmare bacteria. Unfortunately, this threat is very real, now more than ever. It's critical that we work together to contain these drug-resistant pathogens and the infections they cause. Keeping our hands clean is one of the most important ways to prevent the spread of infections. Every time we enter the patient zone, we can get dangerous germs on our hands and spread them to ourselves or to other patients. Sometimes we don't clean our hands as often as we should, not because we mean to do harm, but because it's a daunting task. Some of us might have to do it 100 times a day. It takes dedication, mindfulness, and time. Our patients' lives depend on it. Let's applaud the efforts and improvements we've already made. Increases in hand. At the same time, we know there is still room for improvement. We can all do better. Our clean hands count. Now, more than ever.
Ups and downs. Ups and downs. We've been together, seemed like forever, and I wanna spend another lifetime. Cause it don't get much better, don't care about the weather. Oh, as long as I'm with you, I'm safe and warm. I'm happy that I'll spend the rest of my life with you. It ain't been easy, but we make it through all the ups and downs. It ain't been perfect, but we've all and I love you more after all ups and downs. Life ain't perfect, but we've all and I love you more after everyone. So come on, dance with me, baby. Just wrap your arms around me, baby. Hold on tight like the first time I met you. Oh, since that day, coming right beside you. You showed me, baby, you were right. So honey, I'm ride till the sunset with you. Oh, and I'll spend the rest of my life with you. It ain't been easy, but we make it through all the ups and downs. It ain't been perfect, but we're both. And I love you more after everything. Life is perfect, but we're both. And I love you more after everyone. Love that can conquer anything. You are the melody that makes my heart sing. I'm in the world, that's why you rock my last name. I swear that I love you. It ain't been easy, but we make it through all our love. It ain't been perfect, but we're going right now. And I love you more than ever. All the hours, life is perfect, but we're going. That's our love. And I love you more than I'm every word that's mine of my last name. I swear that I love you, yeah.
And we are back. Good morning. Well, good evening, should I say. A beautiful Sunday evening, a rainy Sunday evening here in the Low Country. A lot of wet weather on the outside. If you are traveling around trying to make it to your destination, please, by all means, be safe. If you're just joining us, this is Love, Marriage, and Ministry. Yes, we are back with Love, Marriage, and Ministry, the social media talk show, interactive talk show at that. Let me add that because we want you guys to be a part of the conversation, and you are more than welcome to jump right on in to the conversation. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you think. We want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, whether you're in a good partnership or your partnership is not so good. We want to hear from you. We're talking about being partners and not competitors. Seeing your partner as your partner and not your competition. This is what we're talking about on tonight. Some great comments have been coming through, you guys, and we definitely appreciate that. And we want to continue in that vein. We want you to continue to let us know what you think, what you're thinking, what's on your mind. Share with us. We appreciate you guys that are rocking with us on this evening. Tell somebody about the conversation. We got another hour of show to go. So we got time for you to join in and be a part of the conversation. It's a 2-hour talk show. If you didn't know, every first and third weekend of the month, usually on Saturdays, but we had some things going on yesterday. We weren't able to go live yesterday, so we're going live tonight, usually on Saturday evenings from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, if you're just joining us and you missed the first half of the show, don't worry. The whole show gets re-aired next Saturday on Exquisite Internet Radio. So you can check it out on Saturday, this Saturday coming. You'll be able to catch it and see what's going on with it as well. So
This
give
Saturday?
us, yeah, this coming Saturday. Mm-hmm.
The 25th.
Okay, the 25th. So on the 25th, this show that we're in right now, we're doing a live, and then it'll re-air on Exquisite Internet Radio this coming Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So you can recap Exquisite Internet Radio app, EIR is what it says. It's a blue circle with EIR in the circle. You'll know when you see it. Download that app, and you can catch not only this replay, but all of our broadcasts and shows that we do are aired on Exquisite Internet Radio as well. So you catch the podcast through there. But if you start looking, if she gonna run, I'm gonna be ready to run too. I don't know what you're looking at, but I'm looking to see what you're looking at. That's how it works. We already know that. It's a given. So
I'm looking at the time, people. I don't know what he got going on.
We're talking about being partners and not competitors. We want to hear from you in this hour now. We want you guys to either put some more comments up. Some great comments have been given. You can dial 843-648-1239. 843-648-1239 is the number to call to get on air with us. So if you have a comment and you want to share and you're not too shy, give us a call and give your comment and give whatever you want to share and help somebody else out. We got a lot of marriages that might be seasoned like our own, 23 years and counting, or it might be a new marriage. You may have gone through a marriage that didn't survive the competition. Some marriages don't survive that competition. Mm-hmm. I know that competition spirit came into our marriage at one point. There was a time when I was in an open competition, so you can't say we were competing about this. But some of the comments that we made, we said to each other. Right. We want you to understand that it's not about making an official competition announcement, but it's about realizing that the things that I'm saying and the way I'm handling my partner, it's a competitive nature that I'm handling them with. It's if I can't get excited for what is going on with them, or I don't see, put it this way, if something happens good with your partner, and you don't seem to feel good about it.
Right. That's
you know what I'm saying? Something is going on, you're not celebrating with them. you feel like you can do better,
Right. Like
or what you done ain't got nothing to do with what I'm doing. That's all you paid, and I took care of this bill and that bill too, and you only paid. That's a competition spirit. So we gotta, and this is why we're talking about this. We gotta recognize the language of competition. Competition has a language. Competition has a language, and we have to be sure that we are not speaking the language of competition. And many of us have been guilty at one time or another of speaking the language of competition with one another, or belittling the person when they have achievements and things that have happened for them. We put it down. We put them down like that ain't no big deal. You know, it's something that they're excited and proud of, but we're stepping all over it. That is the spirit of competition. So we have to realize that the spirit of competition is thick and is very, very sneaky tactic that the enemy used to come in and break up a marriage, break up a union that God has put together. So we have to be very, very careful. Okay, we have to be very careful about the enemy trying to slip in on us and do these things to us. Okay, so we have to be aware of what's going on. We can't just assume that no, there ain't no competition. No, you got to pay attention to how you're talking to one another, how you're handling one another, and the things that are going on. This is why I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what kind of experiences you may have had. Share on the Facebook page. You can share on the live page, or you can just give us a call, 843-648-1239. Phone lines are open. So we're going to be here for a while longer, and we want to hear your thoughts. Something I want to touch on that I heard my wife speaking about earlier, when from the man's point of view, about, you know, a lot of times when we think about, we have these conversations, people talk about the man trying to be, you know, dominant and saying, well, it's my way or the highway, blah, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter, a lot of you women are like that too. A lot of you women are very, very manipulative and controlling. And it's a hindrance to what God is doing. So you got to understand that you got to be able to check, you know, yourself at the door and see, is it me? Am I adding to this competition spirit, or am I adding to the partnership? We have to make a wise decisions when it comes to the partnership. We have to make wise decisions to make sure that we are being helpful to the partnership, that we are saying the right things, that we are encouraging one another, supporting one another. That's important to a partnership. That as a partner, I want to feel supported. I want to feel loved. And my partner wants the same thing. So it's a give and take. We have to reciprocate these things to one another. We have to make sure we're giving as much love as we're getting, or we're giving as much support as we're getting, because that's helpful to the partnership. That's the way we combat that competitive nature. This is the way we slay that competition dragon that likes to come up and cause division, that fire-breathing, confusion-making dragon that likes to come up into the conversation. We have to take control of the situation, first recognize it, and then deal with it. Don't act like it don't exist. You know what I'm saying? We have to realize that it does exist, and we need to handle it. We need to be honest about it. We need to talk about it. Mm-hmm. After this show is over, don't let this be the end of the conversation. Carry this conversation to the bedroom with your spouse. Go sit down to a table and let's talk about this thing. You know what, baby? This might be us. You know, I'm starting to see, you know, a little bit what our problem might be. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out a way to work this thing out, because sometimes it's just a simple communication of the person hearing the words of saying, baby, I am not trying to compete with you. I'm trying to better us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes those words need to be said. Yeah. It's not that, to sometimes how an easy way for that spirit of competition to come in is breaking down communication, where I'm thinking one thing, but she's feeling another. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming, and this is what we like to tell ourselves, she know how I feel. How she know if you ain't telling her? Right. Oh, she already know. We haven't been together this long. That don't mean nothing. We got to open our mouths and sometimes say the words, baby, I am not competing with you. Mm-hmm. I am not trying to belittle you. I am not trying to come against you. I am not, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we just have to say the words, have the conversation. And this is where the enemy keeps winning, because we let the conversation break down and we walking around with assumptions all up here. Yeah. All her love is up here. It don't come out here, but it's all up here. And I think she know about it. I'm saying to myself, boy, I love that girl in my mind, but I don't never say it to her. Man, that's a recipe. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, we're gonna have a problem.
You know what I'm saying? So if we really see this as a partnership, partners have to communicate. You take any partnership, it don't work without communication. I don't care if it's Batman and Robin, Lone Ranger and Tonto. I don't care who it is. Green Hornet and Kato. I don't care if it's two cops on the beat.
Green Hornet and who?
Oh, I went too far back.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that.
N.T. Wade.
You want me to read some of the comments?
Yes, read the comments so I can finish this here.
We're gonna scroll back up a little bit. Jamal Gaston said, whatever is the headship leading role to keep you grounded, the enemy will attack. Then Angela Williams, she said, wow, I'm enjoying your show. Thank you. Then Jamal Gaston said, again, this is important that you guys are talking about relationships because your natural relationships show how you handle your relationship with God. So true. And then he said again, I believe the offenses come through competitiveness to teach us how to defend for the further journey. You have to be an example for those who God will allow to follow you. And then he said it good again, that's good competition. We can't handle a spiritual defect with natural devices. And we need a revelation to communicate. Those are some really good comments. And we're glad everybody is, or we're glad for those of you that are chiming in and responding on here, because you know we can get too far in a situation and then we can think a thing is right that we're doing. You know, sometimes life, and so this is just how I am. You know, but we have to get to a point in our life to where we're ready to break down. And some people are just not ready to break down, or they don't want to be broken. And sometimes when you have like a good fine piece of china, even fine china, if it breaks, it can still be repaired. So we have to get to that point in our life that it's okay if I break down just a little bit. It's okay. I know I'm a man, but I don't have to be so aggressive and everything like that. I know I'm a woman, and I know I've been alone by myself for a long time. I've been handling things, but now I don't have to be so aggressive. You know, it's okay if we break down so that we can be built back up to helping one another. Not for me to be in breakdown so that, why are you touching my stuff? Okay. Not for me to be broken down so till he break me down and make me feel like I'm not even here or I'm less than a person, but I can allow myself to be broken down with some of the walls that I have up, because some of us are like an onion. Some of us are just like an onion.
We have layers.
You ever had? I know a lot of us, we didn't had to peel an onion before, and when you first get that first little crunchy layer off the onion, and then it's another layer, and then some of us is just like onions. It's just like different layers that we have to get through just to get to a middle ground. And it's okay if you go through that time where you got to be peeled, broken down. And then guess what? In your broken state, guess what? God knows how to mend us back, because the things that don't need to be there, he can get rid of it. And the things that need to be put in there, guess what? He'll allow it to be put in there. And I was having a conversation with somebody just recently, and I was letting them know that, see, listen, this time that we are home now is a time for us to get to know our own selves. Some of us as females, we don't take enough time with our own selves. And I ain't saying all of us, so don't get offended right away. Some of us, we don't take enough time. Later. Yeah, you get offended later too, and I'm still saying what I'm saying. But we don't take time to know our own selves. We don't take time to know, just relax, relate, and release, and be able to just like say, okay, I'm just gonna go and sit down, and I know the nail salon and thing closed. I'm gonna give myself a pedicure. I'm gonna give myself a manicure. I'm gonna make sure I'm give myself a body scrub. I'm gonna make sure I'm doing this. I'm gonna take a nice hot bath, put some foaming balls in there. We gotta learn how to take some time and get to learn ourselves.
What is it?
Foam balls.
What is that?
It's a girly thing. You want me to give you some in the tub?
No.
But we gotta learn how to take some time to learn ourselves, and don't get caught up with everything that's going on, with people saying this is your time now for you to go and write a book. This is your time now for you to go and build this project or start this project. Man, this is a time also for us to sit still and hear our own voices. Because sometimes, especially when you're in a relationship, we can get to a point to where all we want to do is satisfy the other person. And we want to make sure the kids great. We want to make sure the house great. We want to make sure whatever I have to do at work is good. We want to make sure we go to bed. Like, at what point as a female did we get to give ourselves that woosah moment? Because we need it. We need a woosah moment, because like I tell all the women when we have our women only meeting, we wear a lot of hats. And every now and then we got to take off some of them hats, because guess what? When you wearing something to that, because we need to head this right quick. We got to take some time out to say, okay, no, I'm not coming to cook right now. No, I'm going to be in my room for a while. No, I ain't coming to do this. It's okay if we say no. And guess what? While we doing all of that, we still have the time and let your spouse know, listen, I got to take some time with myself. I got to, take some time so I can relate to who I am. And when you're doing things like that and you're being broken down now, because you're seeing who you are and you're able to handle who you are, now you can be able to be a good wife, or be able to be a good mother, be able to be a good friend, teacher, leader, whatever roles that you're in, because you know you now. Because when you don't know your own self, you begin to just, you'll morph into whatever somebody else wants you to be. You'll morph into whatever the world is telling you to be. You will become whatever it will be, a lizard. Just whatever state I'm in, I'll fit right in. I'll transfer. But that's not how it's supposed to be. Because if you want to be somebody and you want to be comfortable with the skin that you're in, then guess what? You got to know about your own skin. You got to know about your own self. Because if you don't know that you're the type of person that was pop off in a minute, then guess what? When something goes awry and then y'all begin to talking.
All right.
Yeah, that. But when y'all begin to talk and everything, and you popping off at everything, and then you get back like, I didn't even know I could do that. I never even know that this was me. I never even know I would react like that. That's because we don't take enough to learn our own selves. And I say that to a lot of females. When you're single, get to know your own self. Love your own self. Take your own self out to lunch. Take your own self out to dinner or to a movie. Go on and take your own self someplace and take care of your own self. Because when you can be your own company and you can be your own good company, you'll know how to be somebody else's company as well.
That's right.
But if you're not comfortable enough with your own skin and know how to be comfortable with your own self, all you're going to do all the time is just, whatever you like the girl on Coming to America. You want to go out to eat, whatever you like. Whatever you like them all day long. But that's not how it's supposed to be. We as people, women, married couples, man, woman, whatever it is, you have a right to have an opinion. You have a right to be able to say, okay, this right here, this ain't working. And we got to sit down and we got to talk it out. Because if you're scared to talk because you don't want them to leave, you already got a problem. If you're scared to say, okay, let's have a conversation because this is bothering me. If you're scared to have that kind of conversation because you don't want to be single, you already got a problem. You already got some issues, because there's nothing wrong with getting to being by yourself and getting to know yourself.
For sure. And that's a part of the problem, like we were saying earlier, that communicating and being open to communication.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I always take, as a man, I take responsibility for, and I teach this, that it's our job to set the atmosphere for good communication. As being the head, we have to make the situation, the atmosphere comfortable enough to communicate. We can't stay on the defensive. We can't stay on the aggressive end of the stick and then expect somebody to want to open up and talk to us.
Right.
We can't be like the Angry Birds. The big Angry Bird name is Bomb, and a little thing set him off. You pop a bag and he explodes. His name is Bomb. He got a fuse on the top of his head. And many of us, we have a fuse on the top of our head. The minute our spouse says something, we pop off. The minute our spouse say something, and some of our females are like that too.
Oh yeah.
You say something that you got a fuse that's just always right up there on the top of your head, and the minute a little clap, you hear that fuse is lit,
Right.
and you explode. And that's not setting the atmosphere. Nobody wants to walk on eggshells around their
Right.
partner. Nobody wants to be sitting there with a whole lot they want to say, but don't know how to say it because I don't know how this dude's gonna act. I don't know how
Right.
this chick gonna fly off the deep end. So 9 times out of 10, I wind up not saying anything. That's not healthy. It's not conducive. It's not helpful to the relationship. So, and it's not promoting partnership. We have to make sure that we are promoting partnership, just like competition has a language. Partnership has a language.
Oh yeah.
We have to adopt a partnership language. We have to adopt a language that's conducive to the partnership.
Yeah.
We have to adopt a language that sets atmosphere for the partnership, that encourages, nurtures, and supports the
Right.
partnership. We have to pay attention to not just what I'm saying, but how are you saying it.
Right.
You could be saying
Right.
all the right things the wrong way.
Yep.
So we have to make sure that we are trying to say the right things the right way. I like the part on the movie Ray, when Jamie Foxx was playing Ray Charles, and he said, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, Ray. And Ray said, well, give it to me right then. If you don't want to take,
What did he say?
give it to me right then. if you don't want me to take it the wrong way, then make sure you give it to me right. You know what I'm saying? We got to watch how we're saying things.
Yep.
We got to think about what we want to say before we say it. A lot of times we are so in this instant world, in this social media world, in this I got my comment button world, we throw up the comment before we finish the thought. Or we throw up the comment before we spell check it.
Right.
Or we throw up the comment before we grammar check it. Before we realize that I put it all in caps, so the person that's gonna get this thing, I'm yelling at them.
Yes, and being aggressive. My sister does.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to think about what's coming out before it comes out. Because if you think about it after it comes out, it don't matter what you think because it already is out there.
Yeah, it's out there now.
It don't matter. Now you're gonna either spend the rest of the time trying to clean it up, or making it worse because you don't want to clean it up.
Because you don't want to fix it.
So we got to understand that it comes, your part comes from you. I can't, all this I'm saying, I can't make her do it. And it's not my job to. It's my job to make sure I'm doing it. Because I got to hold up my end of the partnership.
Yep.
It's a partnership. She has a certain part of it and I have a certain part of it. Just the way we're doing this show, it's a partnership. But if you notice, looking at us on social media, she has her mic and I have mine. We have to hold up the end of the conversation in order for the whole show to work.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. That's the way it is in your ministry. That's the way it is in your marriage. You have to understand that and say, you know what? I'm going to do the best I can right here on my part that I'm responsible for. If I'm sitting here, how's this show going to work? If I say, babe, say this. No, now say that. Y'all going to be looking at us like, what is them fools doing? And why is he directing her on everything to say? How I look sitting up here writing notes and then passing it to her. Talk about this next, and then say this. That's not going to be a good show.
Nope.
That's not a partnership. I just want somebody to fill the seat and do what I say. A lot of you, sadly, have entered your marriage with that frame of mind.
Right.
Where you say, I want a husband as long as he do what I say. As long as he make me happy. As long as he go and get the job I need him to have and bring the amount of money. Or I want a wife, as long as she gonna cook like my mama used to cook. As long as she gonna shut her mouth and do what I say.
Oh God,
it's a problem.
What in the dog?
And then you wonder why. And some of you feel that way. You haven't said it, but that's how you think. And you have to be honest with yourself about how you're thinking so that you can get a better way of thinking. God said there is a more excellent way.
It is.
And we have to look for that more excellent way, which is God's way. There's a more excellent way that he desires for us. But we have to search that out and walk in it. We have to walk in it. We have to find our way to it and walk in it and let God have his way. See, this is the problem. We're talking about love, marriage, and ministry. The topic tonight is partnership, being partners and not competitors. We have gotten much further in this ministry, in this marriage, when we went through what we went through and realized that, you know what, this is my partner. This it right here. I'm not clinging to nothing else or no one else. See, this is how we don't get distracted in the conversation. She, her, with this one, right, Chum? But when we realize that it's really that's how I think about Tupac. We against the world. It's just me and her against the world. It's just, at the end of the day, much music, man. Everything is a song. At the end of the day, eventually the children are gonna go. Mom and them gonna move on. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't sign up to grow old with anybody else.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? When I get in the rocking chair and I can't move no more, and the nurse is coming to check on me, when I look in the other chair, this is the only person I want in the chair next to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing else. There was a time I had to realize that for myself. It wasn't something somebody did to make me realize it. It wasn't some conversation somebody had with me and say, oh, maybe she is the one. No, I had to come to the realization. God had to deal with me. God had to change a lot of things in me. God had to mature me. When I was young, dumb, and running wild, God had to mature me. Though we were together, but I wasn't all together yet. See, you got to be honest with yourself and say, yeah, I might be with this person, but I'm still trying to get me together. And I might need to tell her, you know, give me some time. God is still working on me. That's why we need to have these conversations. We have matured together. Think about it. 23 years ago, we were both in our 20s. So we were different. We were younger. You know what I'm saying? It was a difference. So we had to go through some things to make it this far, to be able to sit in front of these cameras and have these conversations. To be able to go to a point where we're counseling other couples, to grow to a point where we are now overseeing other ministries. So we had to grow in this thing. Give yourself time to grow, but be truthful and honest with where you are so you can get to where you need to go. Amen?
Yeah, and I like the part where you said not too long ago when you said we got to learn how to accept the fact that I'm not married to his mother. I'm not married to his family. I'm not married to those people. Because believe it or not, when we got married, my family didn't like him and some of his family didn't like me. And I'm like,
some still don't. And who cares?
Yeah, and I'm like, at the end of the day, we probably one of the couples that's probably still together. A lot of them just died.
One of the few in the families.
So I'm like,
that's still going strong.
You know, because at the end of the day, when you get to the point in your marriage and you're like, okay, listen, this might have happened in my life when I was younger. This might have took place. This is probably how my mom and them did it. And I'm going to take some, you know, what I learned from her. But at the same time, this is my house. And so in my house, I'm going to try to, you know, make things work. You know, I'm going to try to learn my spouse, learn my children, figure out how I like to decorate things, figure out how I want things done. Because you can't get married, be in a relationship, and all of your decisions come from your parents. Look how that sounds. I'm telling my mom and I'm grown. I'm ready to be married. I'm ready to get out your house. And then when I go on, I'm leaving. I go get married. I turn around. Now everything I do, I gotta call my mom and say, Mama, what do you think? Because he say this and he say that. Because he gonna do this and he gonna do that. What do you think? Then when your parents start giving you advice, and now you only want to hear what they had to say. This is how a lot of people's marriages will not last. I'm telling you now, it's not going to last. Because the Bible says you have to leave and cleave. That means I have to leave from cleaving to everything my mom and daddy have to say right at this moment. Everything my sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, I got to learn how to let them people go for a minute. I ain't saying I'm cutting them off, but I got to learn how to get some rhythm in my own home.
But let me add to that, because a lot of times we as men make it hard for the woman to cleave, because we're not coming in with an understanding of what we're supposed to be doing when we're coming in. Because we got to understand that as men, when we come in, we are taking over the role that the parents had of providing, not as being a parent, but as the role of providing safety and security for the individual. See, and that's what we're messing up. A lot of men want to say, well, you know, leave, forget about them. You married to me now.
What?
But yeah, when you came and got me, you were supposed to come and prove, first off, that you can provide for me like my parents
Right.
have. That you can take care of me and provide the security that I need for me to flourish and become who I'm supposed to be.
Right.
So there's a responsibility thing that is being overlooked and neglected a lot of times, because I have to provide the atmosphere. She's confident enough to cut everybody off because she's confident in our partnership. If she was not confident in our partnership, it would push her to want to go back to where she was comfortable.
Right.
And that husband, this is why
This
is why it gets kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not telling anybody, I'm not trying to go off in this avenue, but I just want to mention this because of what we're talking about right now in this moment. This what makes it kind of weird when you have same-sex marriages, that it's like, okay, well, whose responsibility is it to take up this portion of the relationship? When you got two genders that are that can be in this, are supposed to be in this role, who's going to take up the other role?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So we this is why we get so confused. It's not just about, and let me say this, I do not care what decisions people make, what gender they want to be,
Nope,
what their sexual preferences, their sexual orientation. It makes no difference and no bearing on my life. It doesn't decrease me or increase me in one way or the other. But these are the issues we got to look at and think about when we're talking about a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about there's something a man carries that a woman doesn't carry.
Right.
There's something that a woman carries that a man doesn't carry. There's testosterone and there's estrogen.
Mm-hmm.
And I can change everything physically about me, but I can't make my body produce something it's not meant to produce.
It ain't gonna.
I cannot change my chromosomes. So there's a certain level of testosterone that mixes with a certain level of estrogen to create balance. And when you don't have that, there's some things you can fake, but you can never make. So am I going to fake estrogen until I can produce it? I'm going to be until Jesus comes, because I can't produce it. So there's certain hormones and stuff that my body will never produce. It doesn't matter what operations I have. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying we're talking partnership. So if we're going to be in a balanced partnership, first of all, we have to do things that is conducive and nurturing to the partnership. I have to be aware of my spouse as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I have to respect and desire and trust that her actions and words see me as a competitor. I have to set the tone for a conversation. I have to set the tone for being honest and open. I have to set the tone that we can talk and actually get somewhere with conversation, not have a bunch of dead-end conversations where you would do a bunch of arguing and fussing. At the end, you stop because you're tired of arguing and fussing, but you haven't accomplished anything. You haven't come to any agreements.
Right.
You haven't made any decisions about anything. You just, we're gonna stop here. I'm tired of arguing. So we'll pick this up tomorrow. Same argument. We're gonna pick up tomorrow because we ain't made no decisions today. So we have to understand that these are the issues that are facing the relationship. These are the issues that are facing the marriages.
Mm-hmm.
These are the issues that are facing the family. And ultimately, these are the issues that are facing the church.
Yep.
And this is the problem why ministry is lacking. This is the problem why ministry is not going where it needs to go.
That's right.
Then on top of that, let's deal with it. The word of God says he sends them out 2 by 2. And you got a lot of people who are operating without either leadership or without a partner. They're not in partnership. And we are meant to be in partnership. That means if I am pastoring and I'm single, I should have a co-pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I should have somebody I see equal, that we can run this household by God together.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it's going to alleviate a lot of issues. This is why businesses run with boards. Because if you leave everything up to the sole decision of one person, that's not God's way. That's what we call a dictatorship.
Right.
That's not democracy. That's a dictatorship. And I can show you why dictatorships are not God's way. Because if you go back in the Bible, when the people, God had judges over the people,
mm-hmm.
and they wanted a king. But God knew the damage that having a king would bring. But they kept persisting until God said, okay, let me let y'all have it. I'm going to give y'all a king. And the people suffered
they did.
For many years under kings. Many, many years under kings. So we have to understand that the relationship or the ministry is not to me meant to have a king. It's not supposed to be one dude making all the decisions.
Right.
Yeah, it has a head, but the head has to still yet consult with the body.
Yeah. It's on the board.
The board is a body. Any church that's set up correctly and set up by law, the right way by law, you have to have a board. No ifs, ands, buts. And the board cannot be a bunch of your family members.
Sure can't.
And you can't even be on the board. So if you really research it and understand it and really get into the business side of ministry and understand the business side of ministry, then you can really start to grow because you can understand. We think it's just about getting the building, paying the rent, putting some chairs in there and preaching and having revivals and taking up money.
Right.
I'm saying that it's way more to it than that within your ministry,
right.
of your family. Your family should have a greater vision. So it wouldn't be my way or the highway. Because the only one going to be on the highway is you walking down the highway like it used to be on that TV show, Incredible Hulk. At the end of every show, after he tore up a town, you see him with a little backpack walking down the road with the sad music.
Going to another town.
And that's going to be you with the sad music. And a lot of us are like that. We tear up a relationship, and then here we go walking down the street with our little knapsack walking down the highway, and then we go find another relationship, another woman or another man to latch ourselves onto and tear their life up. Leave them with a couple more babies, and then here we go with our little sad music to the next one. Man. Enough is enough, man. That's why them sitcoms don't exist anymore. That's played out, as my wife like to say.
Yeah, man.
That's played out. You running from person to person, tearing up people's lives is played out. And we got to understand God is talking about partnership on the day. We need to embrace partnership. You understand what I'm saying? And if opening up your eyes to realizing that, you know what? This ain't the person I need to be partnered with. You might wake up with the truth. The word of God said the truth shall make you free.
Yeah, well.
So some of the truth might be help some of us realize that, golly, I don't even want to do all of that with this dude or all of that with this chick. So it might be time for me to move on and get my little knapsack and let the sad music play and get up out of here. Don't, strike up the band. It's time to go with a fat lady. Let her sing because it's over. You know, that's just the God's honest truth. Sometimes if it's time to go, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Plenty of time we went out to the club having a good time. But you know what? Some point in the night, this is going to be the last song.
Yeah, man.
Last call for alcohol. It's time to go. As we say, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here. Amen?
Yeah. You got to get up out there. Everything we've been saying tonight is totally, based on our experiences and our opinions. We're not saying that everything that we're saying is facts and you got to go by what we say. That's not how it goes. You have to figure out what's going to work in your marriage. You got to figure out what's going to work in your house. You got to figure out what's going to work with your children. And I say during this time right here, this is an awesome time to learn yourself, your family, your children, learn your home, redecorate, clean up, do something that's going to make you feel like, okay, this is my house. Because when we get to the point where we feel like, okay, I'm comfortable enough, that's making us do things that we should not be doing in our marriages, making us feel like we in a competition, or make me feel like, or he want to act like this, or I got something for him. Wait till I get home. We always want to be the aggressive ones, and I cannot stand to see those movies where they make it seem like the black woman is always the aggressive one, and that's why they go to the other race. Just be honest. Just say you just want to go to the other race. That's just what you want to do. Because all black women are not aggressive, just bossy. All of us are not you like that. So we got to be careful, with the things that we say and the things that we do. At the end of the day, if you want your marriage to work, if you want your relationship to work, you got to keep the lines of communication open. And don't let people be so easy to come in between your marriage and say things. Don't let people come in your ear and have I'm sitting down and somebody had a whole negative conversation about my husband and I don't say nothing. I remember I was talking to one of my cousins and she was saying that she was with some friends of her. And one of the girls, she didn't really, she was in the group, but she was a friend of one of the other friends.
A friend of a friend.
So the girl opened her mind and said, well, he's sorry if I. She said, Charmaine, I paused the whole conversation because I let her have it. Because one, you don't know me, neither do you know my husband. She said she let her have it. And that's how you have to be.
Yes,
you have to stop people in their track.
That's my partner.
Yeah, don't let people sit back and have no kind of conversations about your spouse. Why? Because that's like them talking about you. If they comfortable to talk about you, your spouse in the front of you, they do other people too. So you gotta be like, listen,
negativity out the door.
You better say it. you gotta be that type of person and say, oh, let me go ahead and dead this whole conversation right here, because this ain't gonna be the conversation we're gonna have here tonight. You can have it wherever you want to have it, outside my, So we gotta learn how to stop people in their tracks and let people know this is my partner. And like we heard him Derek say earlier, them kids about to be out the door. We got 6 children, y'all. 6. 3 already out the door.
And one
the
on
4th
the
one is supposed to have graduation in the next couple months, but we don't know, about the government. So we only really have 1 child because the other one, number 5.
They're about to have a parade, and then she
yeah. Our 5th child, he 16, he working and he's doing his own thing. So really, we only have the 1 kid that we, kind of got to take care of, and he barely.
He about to be, he 14, and
he barely,
he want to get his first job. That's on the road.
Yeah, so he barely, So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is the children are going to eventually leave. They're going to eventually
like
leave.
Water, they evaporate.
And at the end of the day, we got to remember that this is my spouse, and whatever you got to say about him, you're saying about me. And to me, those is fight words. We might not physically fight, but we're gonna have some words, so I can.
On the wrong day.
Look, I'm a work in progress. Yeah, duh.
You come the wrong way on the wrong day.
But we gotta understand that. but at the end of the
little
day,
chocolate chick, you can get these hands now, and I'll pray for you when I'm done.
Ain't nobody with no prayer with dumb abusive hands.
How Monique Tab Martin and welcome home Roscoe Jacobs, and I'm gonna pray for you.
But at the end of the day, we got to understand that this is who you with, your partner, your marriage, your relationship. Make it work. Don't let nobody else come in there and try to handle it. Don't let nobody come and say, if I was you, I wouldn't marry him. And then you tell something, yeah, you're right. And next thing you know, they walking down the aisle because they have wanted them all along. So if that's the person that God has placed in your life, we got to learn how to accept it, make it work, and do what it do.
Accept it. Well, our time is far spent, and time does fly when you're having fun. And we have had fun for the last 2 hours talking about being partners.
Kia, and you know it, girl, and I cannot wait. You hear me?
Yeah, it's about being partners and not competitors. If you missed this broadcast and you're just coming in on the end of it, don't worry. It will re-air on Exquisite Internet Radio. Go to your app store today and download the free app from Exquisite Internet Radio, and you can check it out in its entirety on this coming Saturday. I believe that's the 25th at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Exquisite Internet Radio. Get the app now on the replay. And those of you that are checking us out right now on Exquisite Internet Radio, we thank God for each and every one of you. We appreciate you guys. We are just out on this battlefield, y'all, doing what God has given us to do. Our plates are full, but we stay hungry because we stay in these streets doing what God has told us to do. We are the true nature of what God is called for us to be, an outreach ministry.
Oh, yeah.
We can't wait for old Donald to open up the country.
Yes,
to get so back to doing what we do.
It was so sad we couldn't even do Fifth Sunday. We couldn't do our Fifth Sunday. We couldn't do our church anniversary.
We had the door, but we just kept looking outside.
Yeah, man. It's like, what are we supposed to be doing?
Usually we be out there doing our thing. But the first, our YouTube channel is Truth Foundation Outreach Ministry YouTube channel. That's where we stream on YouTube from. And we need you guys to subscribe to the channel. Please, all of you guys, don't make me start calling names. I need you guys to go and subscribe to the channel. We need to get our subscription numbers up because when we start going back out, we don't want just you to subscribe. We want you and everybody you know to subscribe. So invite others to subscribe. If you are already subscribed, please share that channel with other people and get them to subscribe to the channel so we can get our subscription numbers up, that we can go mobile with our YouTube as well. We thank God for each and every one of you for coming and tuning in. We thank God for some of them awesome comments that you guys were sharing tonight. Remember, phone lines are always open. You can always give us a call. 846.
As you can see, it's Derek Moon. Go and inbox it to him. Send it in his email, mrdoitall20@hotmail.com. And your church and community news will get broadcast.
And there's no such thing as too early, because even if something, it might be something later on at the end of the year, it might not be till holiday season, might not be till next year. But if you send it in now, I'm going to be announcing it until it happens. So go ahead and send it on in. Send in your church and community news. Start getting your programs together, because they already got the John P. Key concert coming to Charleston in August. So the country's going to be open for the later half of the year. So you might as well get ready. The summertime is about to be opened up for the summer. I think our Governor McMaster said he's going to open us up at the end of June. At the end of June, just in time for the summer. That's when summer kicks off. I think the first day of summer is June 20th, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be open for the summer. So whatever you got going on, go ahead and start. We do have sponsorship packages starting as low as $25 per week. All right. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. We appreciate all your comments. We love you guys. We want you to continue to pray for us as we stay on the wall doing the good work. Now I'm gonna let DJ Shocky Love take us on out with a little good love. Hit the blinking light on this side. We out, y'all. God bless y'all.
We've been together on this earth.
My speakers with all that bass.
Like we're two gangs trying to fight and love the time. When all we really need to do is listen to each other's views on things, cause that's the only way to maintain good love. Sometimes we get stuck on our own love. Good love to be this way first. Listen. The table listen to one another. We're waiting this far. I don't want to break this heart. No walk away, and even though sometimes it was hard, we stay together. We can sit back and laugh of all the things we didn't have and how